And good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome. This is LoreForged, the podcast for Ashes of Creation. We are your hosts. My name's Jibs, and I'm joined by... He's back. Cash is here.
He's back. He's had a hellish 2 weeks, friends, but I am back. Frank is back.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching on the video. Everybody was requesting the mustache's return, and a couple of days ago, I sneezed real hard, and this popped up. So you're welcome.
Out of nowhere.
It's not
That's
quite
distressing, to be honest with you.
it's not quite to waxed tip phase, but it will be here in a couple of weeks. Some nice wax tips. So you're welcome.
Are you going to do like beeswax?
No, it's mustache wax.
That's beeswax. Okay. All right. Cool. Sonny, what's up?
I would now like you all to refer to me as
Gosh, what is
Sonny
this?
Ravencourt, horse racing magnate.
Magnet?
I see your
I
sucker
think he means
tie
magnet,
on,
right?
My Kentucky Derby hat, and a pair of glasses that are not appropriate for either.
No, they're appropriate for the 80s, but that's fine.
Can't actually hear you because I don't have my microphone, headphones on. Now you may.
You are a professional. Keep your headphones on during the show.
Yeah. Glad your microphone headphones are back on, and the 80s called and said they want your glasses back.
I'm not sure.
Are those your grandmother's?
No, they're Kelly's. I just don't know what they're for. Because, like, they're not, like, prescription.
Dude, do you know how many times,
Like,
how many times I am trying to read something, like my phone or my wife shows me something and I can't see it. And all I see in the front of my face is this. She's got her readers. She goes, put these on. So I'll put them on. And I finally got a really nice pair of Oakley readers. And when I put those, these are them. When I put them on, like I can see everything.
Oakley readers. At what point in your childhood did you say, boy, I hope I can get myself a sweet pair of Oakley readers someday?
Dude, I could just have like the Amazon readers for old people, but I don't do anything half-ass. If I'm going to get something, it's going to be designer. And that is the California boy.
Oh my gosh.
That's true. That is true.
Yep.
You get a pair of board shorts with those Oakley readers?
Yeah, but they're Hurley.
Oh, that's right.
That's too funny.
Oh God, we're so old.
The moment you say readers.
I know. Just drink my red wine and shut up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sonny, by the way, you looked like, you ever watched The Blacklist?
Oh,
Totally look like James Spader. I think it's his
James
like name.
Spader, yes. He's got a good look. See, I'm telling you, these are going to come back in style in about 40 years.
When we're long dead.
Kelly is going to murder me when she sees this.
By the way, so Jibs is here. Hi, Jibs. I do have to say one thing though. Jibs turned me on to a really good damn show on Netflix this week.
Don't you start it?
We devoured it.
What is it?
It is called American Jibs Primeval. American Primeval. It is about the Wild West and how raw and brutal it was.
Sonny, it's not for you.
It is an incredible series. It's only 6 episodes, but folks, do yourself a favor. It is very gory and viewer discretion is advised, but it is super good.
I love that you
the crazy
watched
thing
it.
about the Wild West is it was like 10 years, right? Like,
Yeah.
the Wild West was an incredibly short period of time in American history. And it is like one of the most beloved eras ever, but it was real short. Like they were going out there and it's before the law figured out like how to deal with these people. Very short period of time, but just like incredibly popular and so many wild stories. I probably won't check that out because like there's no way that I can convince Kelly to watch it. When Cash describes something as raw, then it is out for this household.
Yeah, it's very good. And Tomac says raw and brutal. Are we still talking about mustaches? And the funny thing is there's some really fantastic mustaches in American Primeval. So some great ones. And of course, like I call it out. When I see a good mustache, I'm like, ooh, he's got a nice looking stash. And my wife's just like, you are such an idiot.
Oh man, I'm so stoked you watched it. Yeah, it's brutal. But you know what, Sonny, honestly, what it reminds me of, it's the closest to a live action Red Dead Redemption 2 that we've ever had. That's what it felt like.
Never finished that game. Really
oh my gosh, it's a gem.
I know.
Oh, we should get in there and online and play poker again sometime. That'd be fun.
I would say more like Red Dead Online because of the brutality of Red Dead Online.
Yeah. Like,
you got to add the human factor into it, not the NPC factor.
You mean so there's just like people walking down the road and all of a sudden a dude on a horse lassos him and just takes him for a ride?
Dude, yes. It's like a scene opens up, it's all peaceful, and by the end of it, there's an axe going in someone's face. So I'm just like, whoa! Wow. This escalated. What lobby am I in?
Kel's out.
Well, everybody, again, thank you so much for tuning in, pushing play. This is episode 72, and I apologize if I sound different. My regular component, my board, is off being fixed for hopefully just the next week. But so if I do sound different, things do sound a little different. That's why I would certainly do apologize for it. But thank you so much for hanging out with us on the show. This week, we're talking patch notes. It literally just came out hours ago. We're recording this on January 16th. It's Thursday night. So we're going to kind of react a little bit to these patch notes. And then it's live at happy hour that someone just deleted off the show notes. So there will be going through and talking about all that here on the show.
I deleted them off the show notes because you cut and paste them. And it said, check out this thing on Reddit. And we don't have one.
That's why you asked that in a text earlier today. I'm like, well, why is he asking that?
Yes. No, I wanted to point out Sonny's laziness for not getting us a KOTOR this week.
Yes, Sonny, where's my KOTOR at?
Appreciate it. Thanks for contributing.
KOTOR last week. I don't know where you were. It's not like our whole state's on fire or something. Jeez, dial it in.
Well, that's so funny. So patch notes. I mean, we saw and normally we're not like patch note people, but there's some things that definitely stood out. One of those being that the mage took someone took a running start with a wiffle bat and just aimed right at the mage's face.
Yeah. Mage took an absolute beating on this one. Cash, are you going to go over some of these patch notes, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, the thing I was thinking was just because we all read them, so my thing was just maybe looking at some of the things that stood out to us.
Yeah.
Well, I can go ahead and start because I actually play a mage. Mage is my main. At least until Rogue comes out, and so I can talk about the first whole half of this document, which is just nerfs to the mage. The mage took an absolute beating. The ball lightning has been reduced by half. The cone of safety has been reduced by half. The prismatic beam is reduced by 3/4, it looks like. Basically anything that the mage does at this point. The arcane circle took a beating as well. Like everything that the mage had in its skill set was reduced, and I'm not even sure if it's unfair. Like I would normally be like, this is so unfair, because everybody that plays a class that gets any sort of nerf immediately says that it's unfair and they didn't need to do that. I'm not even so sure that they didn't need to do this. The mages were they were legitimately overpowered, I would say. The bards are probably next if the bards didn't take. I don't think the bards got any real notes on this one, but the mages were incredibly powerful, and they did a lot of adjustments to that. And so these are the kind of things, that you're going to see in an alpha, like huge sweeping changes to adjust things like that. They really don't have this dialed in, and that's to be expected. You're introducing a massive player base playing a lot of these classes, and they're going to learn a lot, and they're going to take a look at the data. So sweeping changes is kind of the norm for a situation like this, and that's exactly what you got with Mage here today.
Yeah,
Lanadorf says the bard needs a buff.
Oh,
Give it a buff.
Yeah, why don't you just put a what's that program you guys use, like a
Slack
snip or a clack or a something? You just send over a clack to the next guy, and you tell him that the bard needs a a thumbs up.
Send a clack. All I know is that when I want to never run out of mana ever, I just plop my little ranger arrow flinging butt right in front of a freaking bard, and I am really nice for a long time.
Really nice, Clark. Oh, yeah. Just yell out.
I think.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I want to know is if that freaking lightning ball is deactivated when it hits walls yet, because that thing, I've been in groups and it's like we're in like a tight spot that we've killed our way to get to, and it's every single time it's like, mage, please don't send your lightning ball out, because it pulls every mob in the county.
Slowly going through the entire dungeon. It's like people like, hey,
then we get pissed and we're like,
hey, Craig,
forget it. Somebody trained us. That's
Craig,
it. I'm reporting it. It's reportable
over there. You think someone's in the dungeon, Craig? I've never seen that. Maybe we should go check it out.
Oh my God, it's freaking hilarious. And then inevitably one mage is like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit that button. And then everybody's panicked for like 30 seconds. Like, let's just wait. Let's finish these mobs and we'll just wait.
Don't move. Their vision is based on movement.
Don't move. Don't make a sound. Maybe they'll forget that we're here.
Oh gosh, that's so accurate.
Dude, it's so much fun.
Oh, that's too
it
funny.
Really is.
So yeah, Ranger got a little love. Cash, your Ranger looks like you got a little love.
Ranger got some love. I would say that in this patch has like truly solidified my love for Ranger. I don't know, like I didn't really tear apart the patch notes last time before Ranger was released again for phase 2, but all that I know, and maybe it's that I'm getting more used to the class, but I am seeing the Ranger DPS, not just for me, but for others, come way up. And it has been so much dang fun to play Ranger that I have not wanted to play another class at all. Like, haven't even dabbled yet. Except today I did make a cleric today, but it's for testing. We are testing some very specific things.
Like a new main to me.
And I wanted a fresh character, so I rolled a knife ear cleric today.
Well, you were just so definitive on it. That's the only reason I brought it up. If you wouldn't have been so definitive on never playing another class.
Okay, well, never except for today, as soon as the servers came out. I have a second character now. So, but I highly doubt that character will hit 25 in this phase. But I will sure give it a good college try, because I want to play my Ranger. I love him. So
yeah,
bad.
I doubt it'll replace the Ranger for you. I doubt that.
No chance. No way the cleric replaces your Ranger. The only thing I could see replacing your Ranger is a rogue, and I highly doubt you even go that route.
You know what rolling a cleric is like? Rolling a cleric is like that year that I was a hockey referee. So you become a referee of something, and when you're done with it, you're like, God, I never want to do that again. It's like, these people are saints. I feel like rolling a cleric is kind of like that. It's like, whoof, boy, man, I really need to hug my cleric more.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're doing that event, Jibs?
Oh yeah. Hey, by the way, everybody, to everyone who's here, we talked about doing this a few weeks ago, and in the business of the holidays, it kind of got pushed back. But we are looking at, so for our guild, Black Talon Trading, to everyone who's here. So this is kind of a community announcement. On the 25th, it is. What do we name this? We're celebrating Tank and Healer Appreciation Day. That's what it is. Tank and Healer Appreciation Day.
Tank and Healer Appreciation Day. And we're throwing bards in there too.
Yep, and bards.
Sure.
And bards. And so just take care of give them some gold, give them some extra love. Without them, well, we just don't get as much done, if any.
We get nothing done.
It's true.
We don't have a group without them.
That's true.
Yeah, we're gonna give them some love.
Yeah.
James, what are some of the things that you saw in these patch notes that you fell in love with?
Well, I'll be honest. I think the one that everyone kind of fell in love with was the training fix that is went into play. And this is, I'm trying to find it exactly where it's at.
It's the second one.
There it is.
It's the second one under enemies and NPCs.
Okay. Cash, go ahead.
So this is massive, friends. This is massive for our creature comforts in the game. Changed NPC aggro to prevent enemies from aggroing characters within range when they lose a previous target. This is to address issues with NPC training.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you one more time. That's a huge one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. We know that has been a reoccurring issue for many moons now with all the mob training that's been going on. And I know specifically we've gotten messages, I think it was on our YouTube recently. Someone said specifically, I can't play until they fix that. Just constantly getting trained was just, I mean, like, it was a real touching point for them. And I get it. And so now that this is in place, I haven't seen this tested in game yet, so I don't know what it's like if the mob just goes back to where they're supposed to go. But I mean, hey, that's a win.
Yeah, it's a big win. We had it done to us so many times, and admittedly, I may have done it once. I literally did it once.
Oh,
this is why.
I was with you.
This is why. We had a group, guild will remain nameless, came in, we were in a spot all morning long. I mean, we were literally there for 4 or 5 hours. A group came in, higher level than us, and they pushed us out. And I was so pissed. So I tried to do the diplomatic thing and say, man, we've literally been here all morning in this spot and you're pushing us out. And their response was, sounds like it's time for you to take a break. And I said, really, MFer? So we left.
And I was calm.
We left. I waited a good 5 minutes, and then I pulled everything downstairs and brought it all upstairs when they were in mid-fight. I hate to admit this, but we wiped them.
I love it.
We may or may not have looted them, and then we left.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the way you make an exit,
here's
right?
the thing.
Terrible. It's not the right thing to do. I was really angry, but we had a wrong done to us, and that was the only thing I had back. We couldn't kill them. It's wrong. Don't do that, you guys. But one time, that's all I ever did it. One time.
You could kill them. You could attack them and die.
We would have died.
You would have died.
We absolutely would have died.
I'm like halfway through an article actually on our Patreon on this. I was writing it this morning and something came up, and actually I was writing it yesterday. I think a guy called me to go ice fishing. I've never been ice fishing before.
Yeah, what the heck was that? I didn't even know you were doing that.
That was an adventure, dude. Have you ever been ice fishing?
No.
Oh my God. It's wild. You just go out into the middle of nowhere and pop a tent up in like the middle of a lake and just drill holes and fish just fly out. It's the craziest thing I've ever done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyways, I was like halfway through this thing and then something happened, but the article was largely about whether or not people are psychopaths or whether or not they just become psychopaths because the tools are out in front of them, right?
Yeah.
Like Cash would never do this. Cash would never wipe a whole group like this unless he had a tool to do it, right? And so those kind of things exist. And so you take normal people and you provide them these weapons of mass destruction and these very tempting buttons. And when you catch them in a moment when they are super pissed, they push that button. So that's the problem. And so, you have this training mobs thing. You have some of the other things like the war declarations. You have the other things that are just so lucrative and so destructive that you take normal people and you turn them into bad actors, I think. And so the question is like, okay, well, is the problem going to be fixed when you change some of these mechanics, or is this just human nature, or what's going on? And I think it's a very interesting question about whether or not, things will improve server-wide, attitude-wise, if you just take some of these, simple tools away from them, because it is incredibly frustrating to have the answer to somebody being even the slightest bit offended to just drag all the mobs onto you and get away scot-free. The answer should be, okay, you flag up and you try to kill them and you suffer the consequences of that corruption system, right? That's the design. You can kill anyone you want in this game. I can attack anybody. I might die, but I could kill low levels all day long if I wanted to.
Right.
But I'm going to get wicked corrupt and someone's going to find me and murder me.
Right. And I will say, in my own defense, like, I felt pretty bad about doing it afterwards, because as a guild leader, probably wasn't the best thing to do. I'm learning all the time. I have a guardian angel with me, and it's normally Flaris. He's my second in command of the wardens, and he keeps me on an even keel most of the time. But I was so upset because we had been there all day and we were getting great XP, and I was like, this is just a great spot. We were having a blast, and then somebody came in and ruined it. So I was a little torqued when that happened. I did feel bad, kind of felt a little bit awesome at the same time for doing it. But I realized quickly that, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. So it works. Like, I know that this works. So I resorted to, when people started doing that, I will flag up and put arrows in their back. Won't kill them. I'll put arrows in their back to let them know not okay. And it does seem to work. That did seem to work. Like, people are like, okay, this guy's they're willing to flag. I'm not going to do this anymore. It works about 50% of the time. But I do freely admit that was exploitative, and I shouldn't have done it. So I tried it, reported it, and that was it. I didn't report like the griefing, but I reported it. Hey, just so you guys know, in case you're not aware, you can pull mobs into other people.
The developers are like, what? What? Like, is this guy serious?
Idiot.
Has anyone looked at this?
We'll add it to the queue, idiot.
That's good. That's good. Well, so there's all kinds of patch notes. Really jump in, take your pick. Some interesting. Oh, yeah. Fingers up. Go ahead.
He's got a finger up.
Yep.
I
Fingers
know,
up.
Keep going, but we're not done. We have more patch notes that I want to cover.
Go.
We could spend the whole show on patch notes. We do have a whole list of things from the Live from Happy Hour. So
yeah, that's great. I'm glad you said that, and I'm going to cover these anyway. So anyway, there's a ton of caravan fixes. We won't go over all of them, but they are obviously putting love into a major gameplay feature, and I think that is. It says a lot. It says that they're paying attention to the things that people are passionate about.
I want defense. I want defensive caravans. That's what I want.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want rewards for defending a caravan. We'll talk about that in a minute. This one I thought was kind of funny because I ran into this issue on the freehold. They fixed a bug preventing gatherables from being planted on the freeholds. That was extremely wonky. Extremely. Like, so wonky that you had to, like, put your hand out in one direction and stand on the other one leg and hop up a few times and then
put your tongue right
I can
in the
place
right
the
spot.
tree now. Yeah, exactly. So that was super wonky. So I'm glad they worked on that. Fixed a bug with freehold pricing. Did they make it cheaper? Because that'd be great.
They just made it more obvious that you can't afford it.
Oh, that's funny. Increase the price by 50 gold.
So that's
They just made it bigger.
This one I found actually amazing. Moved the Firebrand event to be further south. This is to prevent Firebrand from terrorizing your freehold.
That's pretty funny.
Oh my God. I would have loved to have freaking game recorded that. That's freaking hilarious.
Do you guys think, real quick, do you guys think a freehold should be a safe space, a safe place from PvP?
No.
Kind of, but it'd be hard not to game that, right? Like, it'd be hard not to, like, kill people in a radius outside your freehold that you knew you could run back to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. We're actually going to be having a conversation about this stuff, I think next week, actually. We got several things we're going to be covering, but anyway, just real quick thought. Okay.
I mean, there is some logic to that, though, right? Like, it is your home. You should be able to go into your home. Like, if it was something where you're, like, constantly eating dinner and, like, people are kicking in your door and murdering your children, yeah, like, that's not a great experience, right?
Protect the children!
They're in the
house. They're in the house.
So last one here, and this one's kind of hot off the presses, folks. Fixed a bug where douchebag guilds could attack your caravan and take your hard-earned loot.
Oh,
turns out that's out of the game.
Weird.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that one's out of the game. It just that one is followed up with "Get Good, Son."
Yeah, that's a Vira exclusive.
Yeah, that's true. Vira exclusive right there.
Or when they demand attacks, it's like, you're an a-hole. Why are you doing this?
I'm thinking of one guild right now. Their go-to on our caravans of like 2 people, our random members' caravans, is pay the toll. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's all right. We're coming. Guild, you know who you are. We're coming.
Oh, so yeah. Did I miss any? Were there any more? I don't want to.
No, that's it. I'm done. I just had.
There's a lot of them, but a lot of them was visual stuff and stuff like that, and they're working. Yeah, they are working. So it's a good sign that they're releasing patch notes like this. It's they know the issues, right? Like there's no surprises out there. So.
Well, we're right on the eve of, you said visual passes. There was a lot of visual passes. You saw it for Cephalion and the desert, and then the Forge, and then there was somewhere else. I know that they did other passes as well. So there's a lot going on. Hey, we're right on the eve, by the way, of the hammer coming down, or whatever the hammer is.
Allegedly.
Asterisk.
I will believe it when I see it. I am suspect.
Suspect.
Oh, I see what you did there.
That's right.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
And yeah, that's not even one of the big ones. I don't know, man. I think there's certain individuals that I would like to see punished, but I've kind of softened up on this whole thing a little bit, unless it's exploitative. Exploitive.
I feel like exploit. I feel like you got too many consonants in there.
Exploitative. Yeah. Unless it's an exploit. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of freedom in the game. I'm really interested to see how it happened, because, and I know that we talked about it, like, yep, ban them, get rid of them.
Okay. War declaring on 20 guilds at the same time to generate gold by killing new players in town.
Yeah.
Was it in the game and available to do?
It's all in the game.
Okay, hang on. Before they fix that and realize, you know what, development team, this is kind of an issue. We should probably rein it up a little bit, right?
Okay.
Before that happened, was it available to do?
This is the definition of an exploit. Something is available in the game that they tell you don't do this, and you do it.
Correct.
Right?
I
When
agree
you
with you
find
100%.
something, when you are the first person to find a duplication exploit, it is in the game. Nobody knows about it. You are now duplicating an item. What is your play? Your play is to report it.
Right.
And then do what?
Not do it again.
Stop doing it. Right?
Right.
And that is their explicit instruction when it comes to things that look wrong, things that look like exploits. Report it and stop doing it.
Right.
They're all available in the game. You could keep doing this. You could keep doing this until you max gold out. You could keep doing this until you get all your experience. You could keep doing this until your guild has everything. These are exploits. When you have somebody or multiple people that are doing these kind of things, the explicit instructions from Intrepid, and they didn't have to do this. They said, don't do this stuff or there will be consequences. These are the consequences.
Agreed. Frustrating when you're on the receiving end, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, the last time you, Sonny Ravencourt, logged into Ashes of Creation, were you looking for exploits to be able to make more money?
I don't think so.
Exactly. That's my point. I
was
don't
worried
believe
I was falling into a trap there, but no.
Not a trap. Not a trap. I opened the door and you walked through it exactly the way I wanted you to, right? Because I know the way that you play. You don't have an agenda to log in, find an exploit where you can make extra money and continue to exploit it. Okay. But you are an honest player. Okay. Others who may be a little fringy will hop in, find an exploit, and exploit it.
Sure.
What is going to happen if all of those players get their accounts banned and they're no longer able to test?
Prison Island.
No, it's not a thing.
Okay.
What's going to happen?
So they get banned. They get banned. Let's say, like you say, they like just flush them all.
Right.
Gone. Right.
Right.
What percentage do you think this is?
Oh,
give me a percentage.
5-10%.
5-10% tops.
Right. But these are people.
No impact. No impact.
These are people. Okay. It does have an impact because these are the people that are looking for these things. They're actively looking for ways to progress ahead of others at all odds.
Disagree.
Okay.
So here's why I disagree. Okay. And I understand what you're saying. These are the people that are finding the exploits. This is why the prison island system is so good, right? The prison island system is amazing because you put them on the prison island, they can exploit and they can find everything. And they can exploit to their heart's content. Prison island, right? Let's say no prison island, you ban them. This does not mean that the rest of us are like mouth breathers, right? Like we can also find these things.
I'm not saying just honest people are
not going to exploit them. We will still refine them and report them. We just won't destroy a server in the process. We won't require Intrepid to roll back like a week worth of gold and experience and guild achievements and all this other stuff. We won't have to deal with like whole like economies being rolled around because you have 30 or 40 or 100 people that are all taking advantage of something like this. We'll still find it. I truly believe that the people are smart enough. They will still find it. They just won't exploit it. And if they do, they're going to know that that hammer is massive and it swings hard. That's what I want. I would take the prison island, but on a second, I will take a full ban.
You seem very mad at me. And I just want to say, I am on your side. We are on the same team here, bro. My only point is, and I want to get Jibs' opinion on this because I think it's very poignant. He's going to be the tiebreaker here. I'm just saying that I'm not saying you can't punish, but I'm saying that punishment perhaps should not be dumping these people's accounts and not letting them play anymore. Because when you're actively looking for things like that and you find them and exploit them this early in a testing phase, it does help for Intrepid to gather that data and say, yeah, these players are bad actors, but they did find some pretty good stuff for us to sew up. That's my point.
I'm the tiebreaker?
Jibs? Yes.
I got a bathroom break. I'll be back in 15.
No, you are forming an opinion. You're pissing your pants, pal.
No pressure, Jibs.
Look, hey, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, right? You know, like at the end of the day, I'll read this verbatim in chat. Ashes of Nerfs says they will lose more testers by not banning those people than by keeping them. Also,
okay. Well taken.
On that note, also, you're still going to find exploits. Like, people will find exploits. The only difference is you're not going to have... there's so many colorful words I want to use. People, gamers, that's better. Yeah, we'll go with that. These wonderful gamers that choose to exploit it for the intent of...
They're not wonderful, dude.
I know they're not. Not at all. Look, Phase 2's been awful. Like, it's not been great. It's not been a great experience. It just hasn't. And this is one of the main drivers of that, has been the exploitation that's gone on, particularly from what we've experienced in the virus server. Yeah, they need to go. People need to understand what's not okay. And it's okay to tell people what's not okay. Because there needs to be lines. There needs to be boundaries. Again, stupid games, stupid prizes.
And they know it too. They know it. Like the people that are like nervous that they're going to be banned know that they've done things that are wrong. There's just no doubt, right? Like that's the kind of behavior that elicits that kind of thing. And so here's my thing. And I am hoping, but I am not maybe as optimistic or sure that it will happen. I really believe that like we're getting to a point where they kind of just want us to forget about it. This is just this is my feel on the whole thing.
I hope not.
I feel like they're just trying to get away from it.
I hope not,
because that like things move on.
We saw exploiting in phase 1, and we didn't see anything really that came of it. Like at least from a maybe stuff did happen that we didn't know about, as a community. But people were exploiting, and within what was it? The phase 1 had been out for maybe a week and a half, and people come over to our server, and within 24 hours, they're 25, or they're 20 and 25.
Yeah, there were people that released a video that specifically called us out for saying that. And they showed us how they did it and everything like that. It was interesting. I will say this, that like...
I appreciate the free marketing. That's one video I didn't have to make, so thank you. I mean, if we're going to mention it, then thanks.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, thanks for watching our show.
Yeah, appreciate it. Much love.
I really do appreciate that. It's awesome. Yeah.
That's right. Subscribe and like. It'll be interesting. I think that this is the last thing I'm going to say on this so we can move on. I think this is a watershed moment. I think that this is a defining moment for Intrepid as a company. I think that this is a defining moment for this game, that like when Friday comes and goes, that I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs from a lot of people that want to see what happens.
Yeah.
And we'll see. And that's,
I'm one of those.
That can go an awful lot of different ways, but I really think that this is a moment,
Definitely. Definitely.
I believe something should happen, right? Something absolutely should happen. What that thing is, I'm a little softer on it, right? I'm a little softer on it now because I've had, a couple of weeks to think about it. But the funny part is, this is the funny part about how each of the three of us are. Like I am, and I've said it before, I am lawful good. I truly, in my real life, I am lawful good. I get pissed if somebody rolls a stop sign or if I see somebody jaywalking 20 feet from a crosswalk. I get pissed, right? It's like, we live in a society. Follow the law. I get irritated super easy. And here we have both of you that have a differing opinion from what I've landed on this. And I think for the most part, all of our goal is to see the game progress and have these things sewn up. But you guys are you're so much more definitive on what you want to see happen to these people. And I'm just like, let them play. I just find it funny. I'm sorry.
They can play. There's other games.
Yeah. Wow.
Go play Path of Exile 2.
I mean, there's all kinds of great games, Come back when the game's launched.
Yeah, there's Tetris still. You can find an old Game Boy.
Oh yeah, there's Tetris in this game, bro.
Oh,
I know firsthand.
That's true.
Oh gosh. Oh, all right. Wow. So live at happy hour.
A little off the rails there. Sorry about that.
No, that's good stuff. I love having these conversations with you guys. The chat's going off. I love it. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, for sure.
I think my favorite comment, and I gotta give credit to this person because we don't see him a lot in the chat, but Grimaten said, "We need murderers in society in order to figure out how murderers murder."
All
there
right.
You go.
That's point taken. Point taken. You're right.
Oh, that's good. All right. So live at happy hour. We got to get into this here. We probably won't be able to get through all these. However, we're going to get through some of what we can.
We can do some more next show. Why not?
We can do it. We can do it. Come on.
So
you just have to not elaborate on every freaking point, right. Jibs.
Oh, yeah. Jibs.
I don't know. That's a pretty tough one. I've prepared notes before the show. I actually listened to our previous episode on the way on my hour-and-a-half drive home from the office to my house.
My notes are all covered in this mustache wax.
And I just...
You guys are such dicks. I prepare for the show because I care about it. I want to have a good, solid forget it.
I love that you're just full of defense. Oh, man. Whew. I want whiskey now after that for some reason. All right. So anyway, live at Happy Hour. For those who don't know what this is 100% built by our patrons, where we put the word out for questions, and they shoot them over to us. And so that becomes our topics for the day. Now, however, this one is entering into the 3/4 of our episode. However, we are going to jump into these here. And the first one up is from Azra, and he says, actually, it's a 2-parter. And we're just going to do, let's do we've answered part A before actually, I think it was last episode. So let's do part B here. Do you see Steven's plan of node citizenship being a bigger commitment than guild membership, or will guild beat node?
Woof. This one's a real tough one because we had this exact conversation when it came to moving nodes, and specifically the mayoral system, because you have the guild's wants and needs, and then you have the nodes' wants and needs, and they are not the same by design. And the problem is that you can only put so many buildings inside of a node. And for the guild and for crafters in the guild, that is exceptionally limiting. People that want to do woodworking that don't have a woodworking station in that node are in an awful position.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the guild wants people to go to that node because they can have a lot of support. They can run for mayor. You can have a guild, freehold in that area, and you're working towards a node. But for some of the individuals in that guild, it's terrible. Like, it is just not what you want. And we as guild leaders understand this mechanic. Like, we get it, right? But it's hard. There's very much a balance. And so if you're asking, like, which will win, guild versus node, I think the answer is guild, because the guild just facilitates, you just have so much more control over the conversation, and you have such interaction between the people in the guild. And the node really is, it's tougher to gain support from the people in that node. I think the communication is, you're talking to like strangers through a citizen chat and stuff like that. It's a lot tougher. But yeah, I mean, it's a really weird sort of offsetting situation.
Yeah, I don't feel like I can follow up too much more. I mean, like, that's pretty solid point. I mean, like, I think it's going to be per person. Like, if it's guild membership, okay, are you close to your guild, or is it just something like you're just a part of, right? Because then the other part of me feels like it's just going to be like more node loyal than guild. I think it comes down to community. Cash, what do you think?
I think it's a little bit of all of those things that you guys said. Like, I agree with both of you, but I also think it's what your gameplay focus is. If your gameplay focus is leveling and PvE and getting to 25, I don't think it really matters. I think you'll probably go with your guild, because your guild is where you're going to get your groups. Your guild is the people that you're going to be on Discord with talking to. And I think there's a lot of loyalties there. But if your focus is crafting, then I can see where there would be a split. Because if your guild says, we're going to Halcyon or we're going to Nuela, and the crafting stations that you need are not there, but you need your guild members for a possible mayoral vote, then they may choose to go to another node to support their crafting over supporting Sunny for mayor. You know what I mean? So, so I think there's a split there. I think we're very lucky in the way that we recruit, because we do passive recruiting, right? Normally the people we get are either friends of friends, family members, or people who have seen our YouTube or follow our podcast, or all of those things, or some of those things together.
Right.
So there is some loyalty. We do find that there's loyalty built in there to people who know us and know how we lead our guild. There's loyalty there, and there's a lot more chance of those people going, hey, this is what the guild needs. This is what I'm going to do. But if you are a crafter, you get into a game and you join a guild just because they have a kick-ass name, like Black Tide Trading. Super cool. I'm going to go join Black Tide Trading. They have super kick-ass name. And then and they may or may not have loyalty to the people who are running that guild or what they have going on in that guild. They're going to keep their loyalties where their crafting stations are. So there's a lot of factors that play into it, I think.
Yeah, Amazing Mr. Grinch said, like, well, what if you're a guild that's big enough to control multiple nodes? It's like, must be nice.
Yeah, must be nice to be pirates. Which, by the way, we are all three fans of pirates. So that's not a slight.
I mean, but that's the reality, right? Like, if you're a guild that's big enough to have control of multiple nodes and put the things in all the places that you want, then yeah, like, of course, it's not a big deal. You can have everything. You can have your pie and your cake and eat all of it, right?
Oh, that's a lot of carbs, bro.
It's not good for the adventurer's guide to health and fitness, I'll tell you that.
Or your triglycerides.
Next.
All right, so next up is from Chaffer J. What's your thoughts on crafting versus leveling? Personally, I feel like the current speed of the game combat players out-level crafters because of crafters being stuck getting nodes online. Players are just getting apprenticed by the time I'm level 20. Cash, going to you first.
I think that in this case, you really have to choose what you want to do. If you are choosing to level your character, you're going to be behind on crafting. If you choose to be a artisan crafter, you are going to be behind on leveling. Because if you do both and you split that time, you're going to be behind on both. So, and which is fine. There's no race, obviously, to get to 25, right?
Yeah, okay.
There's
all right.
Some massive race to get to 25. Dude, and I'm the dude that said, no, I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to hurry.
Sounded just like that, too.
And that's exactly how I sounded. And what did I do? Frickin' burnt the candle at both ends and got 4 hours of sleep every night because I was grinding to get to 25. But I did it.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you a side question here. Do you think that between those two things that the balance is right?
No.
Or do you think that one of them is wildly ahead of the other?
One of them is wildly
question.
Yeah, one of them is wildly ahead of the other if you're looking to gain character levels. For sure. I am in the camp of, I believe crafting and gathering should provide more experience so you have an alternative route to level. Of course, you're not going to level your weapons as fast if you're not using them, but I do believe that there should be, and how they do that, I know it would be very difficult for them to do that. So say that you do a majority of your leveling through crafting because the points that you get, the XP points that you get is commensurate to what would be if you were out there grinding, every day, 8 hours a day, right? But at the same time, you should be weaker in combat because you haven't leveled those weapons, right? Maybe if you're grabbing a ruby or something and you get attacked, then yeah, you'll get some combat experience. But I don't think it should be connected to level. I think they should balance that out a little bit so that our folks who do want to be crafters and merchants and all those freaking amazing things that we all need will have a viable way to level their characters.
Yeah, I just think it's a little out of whack right now. Like, I think that the leveling on the crafting side of things needs to be bumped up a little bit. I don't know how you do it the other way. Like, you don't want to slow down the grinding mobs because literally all you guys are doing is grinding mobs for the purpose of gaining XP, and you're looking for the biggest XP gain out of the mobs, and like that makes sense in a vacuum of what you're trying to accomplish and how you're trying to accomplish it. It just seems like if you go the other way, you are so slow. You are just spinning your wheels and there's not enough quest reward to get those kind of things moving. And so it is very difficult to get any traction whatsoever. That needs an adjustment.
Yeah, I think for me, and this is not going to be a popular opinion, but for me, in a perfect world, in an MMO, the MMOs I enjoy, that they reward you no matter what you're doing, and it's viable. So And what that does ultimately is supports you in your gameplay loop, right? So if I want to be if I just want to experience this game from a crafting standpoint, I want to be able to gain levels doing that and know that while I'm doing this thing, it's viable and it's my gameplay loop and it's a solid option for me. I think the best.
Do you agree with what Cash says, though, that you should be weaker in combat if all you've done is chop trees down?
Yes and no. I mean, like, because I should be leveling while I'm doing that thing, right? Which is ultimately, now granted, you're not going to be leveling your weapons. So from that standpoint, yes, because you're not leveling your weapons, right? You're chopping down trees. However, you should be gaining XP toward your levels. And I'm the opinion that the MMO you play should be able to support your players' gameplay loops, your styles, and because of the things that you offer. The things you offer should be viable for them, because then it gives them an open avenue with all these roads they can choose to take. Like, ooh, I'm gonna go do this today. Don't have to worry about falling 8 to 10 levels behind your friends.
That's the sell of the MMO, right, Cash?
Yeah.
Like, that's the sales pitch for the MMO. That's why we play MMOs, is you can pick your own adventure. You can pick the player that you want to be.
Bingo.
Right. And the example that I pull there, because it is it was part of the vision for Steven, is Star Wars Galaxies. If I wanted to level my character by being an entertainer, that was my loop. I could put on something skimpy. Sonny, I know you're super into that. And then I could go into a cantina and I could sit there and level that experience, but at the same time, I was gaining character levels.
Sonny, don't do that eyebrow raise. We all know what sliders you were messing with when you first made your Ashes of Creation 2 on stream.
I admitted that mistakes were made. All right.
Yeah. I know that you wanted to see.
Mistakes were made.
I know that you wanted to see my overweight Zabrak in Princess Leia bikini. I'm all about it, dude. Whatever you're into, I don't care. It's 2025.
I'm not shaming you. I'm not shaming you.
All I'm saying is that if you wanted to level, wilderness or whatever they called it in that game, you could go out and do that regardless of having to do combat, and you were still gaining character levels.
Yes,
but you were also gaining your artisan levels in whatever path you chose to go. So I think it doesn't have to be fully commensurate with getting out there into grind groups and grinding your level, but it should at least be buffed enough to support those folks who just want to be merchants and crafters.
Yeah. Or doctors, right? Like medics, like
Is there
Cash
a doctor
Colto
in
was.
this game?
Cash Colto was a medic, and Cash Colto was a damn good medic that got to that higher level by doing medic stuff. Now, I don't know what happens if you find Cash Colto in a dark alley, but like, if you found him in the clinic, he was going to do good stuff for you. So
yeah, if you found him in a dark alley, he's going to literally like throw IV catheters at you. Do you know that my wife, when my wife needs something, she will yell Cash Colto across the freaking house?
That's because that's what you respond to. She's not an idiot.
Dude,
that's awesome.
So for those of you that don't know, Cash Colto was my Star Wars Galaxies character, and my wife
also the name of a horse I own.
Wait, you still own that one?
Great name for a horse, by the way. Cash Colto.
I mean, it's a great name. You're not wrong. But you still own that one, but you sold the Warborn one that you didn't even name after me?
Warborn got sold. Cash Colto was actually a trainer horse, so at least your horse was worth money.
There you go. Cash Colto is a legend that lives on. You guys are such nerds.
Oh, that's
I follow Warborn. Even though I don't own Warborn anymore, I follow Warborn. You guys go to the next question. I'm going to look up Warborn's recent record.
All right, copy that. De La Luna asks, describe your downtime mentality, both right before and during the downtimes. During the downtime, I'm usually not interested in playing anything else, but right before this downtime, I really didn't want to get in and start something only to forget where I was when the servers come back online. Go ahead,
Let's
Cash.
go to you, Jibs.
Oh, okay.
What do you do?
I play games. I honestly, what I really like to do, particularly here lately, is play other games, play other MMOs. If I'm not doing that, I'm reading. If I'm not doing that, I'm working on writing for my book. And that's basically A, B, or C is pretty much what I've been doing lately. That's how I spend it.
Sonny?
Do you want to hear Warborn's record?
Real quick.
Real quick. So I had Warborn. I don't know what's going on here, but when I owned Warborn was on the podium for the first 2 races. And then I sold Warborn, and the drop was precipitous.
You gave
this poor horse has finished dead last in his last 3 races.
He's not eating. He's not being fed. Way to go, Sonny. You sold him to a terrible.
Care of him.
Gosh, you're like that guy who never fed their Tamagotchi in the 90s.
Oh man, can you still buy a Tamagotchi?
You can. Cash wants one.
For those of you that are completely confused, we are literally talking about virtual horse racing right now because Sonny is a gambler and he is addicted to online gambling.
Look, so a guy at work the other day said, like, when are you going to admit you have a problem? I'm like, I don't have a problem. I'm awesome at this. I don't think that's the answer he was looking for.
That's hilarious.
I said the same thing about drinking when my chief was like, hey, are you drunk?
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
No, I'm not. I'm just awesome at drinking.
Oh gosh! All right, we got
downtime questions.
Yeah.
I do a lot. I have a lot of hobbies. This is a well-known thing that I just have an awful lot of hobbies. It's the gaming thing. I will always game. I will always play video games. Like, this is the common thing between the 3 of us. We love video games, but we don't just love like this video game. We love a lot of different video games. And so we have played all sorts of different games, and it is something that, you know, we have our little genres. And one of those genres for me is about to hit wicked hard. And that is Civ 7 comes out at the same time that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes out at the beginning of February. And that is going to be a problem for me. The Civ series is my single favorite franchise of any games. I love the Civilization games. It just is a perfect Venn diagram of gaming for me. So as far as gaming goes, that's my downtime right there. Is JB has said this many times. Like, when you're doing a show about an MMO, you have to have some sort of off game to give you perspective, to give you a break, to give you something, because burnout is real. And when you're playing a game, burnout is real. But when you're playing a game and doing a show about a game, it is amplified by 10. It is a real problem. And we want to continue to be in this space for a long time. So we have to find other things to do, even in gaming. And the Civ series is definitely going to be that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, as long as I've known you, you've loved Civ. So, yeah, buddy. Going to be awesome to see that one. I'm excited about Civ 7, to be honest with you. I don't even play Civ. But anyway. Then finally here from Lunk, actually.
I don't get an opinion. That's super awesome. Thanks, Jibs.
Oh, my bad. I thought you answered.
Not that big of a deal.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Oh, come on. Give your damn opinion. For God's sake, you big baby.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys even did the assignment right. Because okay, so specifically it was asked like what we do before our downtime. So before the downtime, I will freely admit I completely lose focus on what I was doing in the game. When I know it's like 2 days, especially before when I went from phase 1 to phase 2 and we had that break, I was totally lost because I knew that character was going to be murdered. So I was like,
that was tough.
I don't know. What am I going to do? So I was more apt to just like run around, like trying to do some artisan stuff. And I was more apt to log out when I knew that character was going to go bye-bye and play another game. But before like the week downtimes happened, weekly from week to week, I try to sew stuff up. So I'll try and put stuff on the marketplace, hoping that somebody will see it, and I'll come back to some emails with that something sold. But I have like during that downtime, I have zero problem playing other games. Lately it's been Warcraft with us. I've been playing, Jibs and I've been playing a little Warcraft. Sonny won't join us in Warcraft, so there is that.
He hates us.
And now that I know that Sonny went back to Jibs went back to Classic.
I'm playing both.
I'll probably be diving back into Lord of the Rings Online maybe a little more.
I'm playing both.
Really?
Yeah. Lord of the Rings Online, dude.
With Lord of the Rings Online again.
Yes, it's a great game. It's fantastic.
It was a great game 50 years ago, but
oh, Sonny.
It's a little dated.
Wow. You
were the one that told me that it was a little rough.
Oh, it's a little rough, but it's Lord of the Rings, so it is what it is. Says the guy who played a freaking 2-bit sailing racing game forever.
Yeah, that was a
and he streamed
game.
it. I was like,
he's not
why
wrong,
are you streaming 4 pixels?
That was
anyway.
That was at least 16 pixels.
At least 16.
That was before you found your freaking horse
at least
racing
into a
game.
Super Nintendo at this point, right?
Gosh, that's hilarious.
But like I have zero problem with playing off games. I actually just downloaded Albion on my phone for mobile, like when I'm bored at work.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
How was that?
That might be a thing. Albion's an awesome game. I've just never like really got into it, so maybe I'll get into it on mobile.
There you go.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Here's the reality. Here's the reality for Cash. At least for the next 4 months, when I'm in this administrative position at work, when the server downtimes hit, they hit during my work week. So I don't have time anyway. I'm way too freaking busy.
Perfect for you
to log in. So it really is, for me, it's perfect. So when the weekends come, I really look forward to it on weekends. And for example, today, I may or may not have skipped out of work a little bit early to come home and log in because I'm fiending by the time the servers come back up to play Ashes. So that's what's happening. If I have my druthers, I'm playing Ashes of Creation when the servers are up, no matter what it is. I don't care if I'm gathering. I don't care if I'm meeting up with friends. We got a freaking carving thing going on this weekend that I'm super pumped for.
Heck yeah.
It's an alpha, you guys, and I'm super pumped to just get in and play with friends and test the game and do all the things. But during the week when I don't have time, it's like, whatever. I come home, take a shower, watch a show with the wife, and then I'm freaking sucking my thumb by 8 o'clock. You know, I'm super tired. So, anyway.
Yep.
That's my reality.
Yeah. All right. Well, this one's from Lunk. How would you improve the caravan system to clearly define the reward system, both from defending as well as attacking? Right now, there is no reward, therefore no incentive to defend. In terms of attacking, you might get some loot, but the real main point seems just to grief the people running the caravan. Sunny Ravencourt.
Yeah, there is no system. I would build a system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, where do you start, right? You could do literally anything to provide incentive to defend a caravan. It would be better than what it is now, which is no incentive. And the incentive to destroy a caravan is that their loot falls onto the ground and you take a crowbar and then you walk away with it. That's the incentive to attack one. So when you have incentive to attack a caravan and none to defend it, then like, what do you think is going to happen? That seems pretty obvious to me. So yes, I mean, God, you could just, the world is your canvas on this as far as like what you would do to create incentive to defend a caravan. You could do all sorts of stuff. Hell, I don't know. Give like city currency, like node currency to people that defend caravans. God knows I'm always looking for that kind of stuff, right? Like,
it's a great idea.
And it's not like actual gold, but you still need it. And so you can buy stuff with it. You can buy, like, I need blue excavation kits. And I looked at how much freaking node currency that costs, and it's a fortune. If I had to defend a few caravans and be like a good little soldier and follow one around for a while, that's totally in my wheelhouse of something I would do. Like there's a ton of different options. That is quite literally something that just came to me just now. So God knows that people have better ideas than what I just came up with. But like anything, any system, give it a skill tree. I don't know. You get You get a percentage of whatever the loot is inside of it. You get, I don't know, buffs to leveling. Like, who knows? Just give them something, for God's sakes, because caravans right now on Vyra are like bacon wrapped little dog treats going through a kennel. It is brutal. It is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let me ask you this though, bro. Do you feel that there should be incentives for people attacking caravans?
I think the incentives are inherent, and that's the loot. Like, it's built in, right? Like, you attack the caravan, you get the loot. That's all the incentive you need. I'm a bandit. Like, I don't need any more incentive than the cash in that dude's pocket.
Okay. And I agree with you 100% there. And that's why, like, on this particular question, I was like, well, wait a minute. Should there be some kind of incentive program or incentive in place to defend a caravan and attack a caravan? I myself do not want to reward the people who are attacking the caravan. It is an inherently terrible thing. I don't want a carjacker to be rewarded if they're unsuccessful in carjacking my vehicle.
Yeah, but you know what the loot is if they carjack your vehicle?
My vehicle.
Your car.
I burned CDs from the 90s.
I have in it, right? So I don't think that's right.
System that already exists.
But to incentivize people to defend caravans, there should be some type of incentive. And I agree with you 100% there, because you know how many times right now a person who doesn't realize there's no rewards for defending a caravan, how many times do they defend a caravan when they see one on the road? Once. Because they defend that caravan.
Yep.
They get from New Ayla to the tropics or to the desert, and they get there and they're like, what the literal F did I do this for? If there is nothing to be given to me. And like, they're sitting there just like holding their hand out to the guy who has a successful caravan. And they're like,
that was 2 hours I'll never get back.
alms for the poor? Like, I seriously trailed you the entire way. And I was wondering why you were there. I was defending your caravan.
Yeah.
So yes, there should be some type of a reward incentive for the people that are defending caravans.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they decide to make it, whether it's glint, a percentage of the haul in gold, titles, things to work towards, gear, maybe certain gear drops would be awesome for people who are defending the caravan. For those of you attacking caravans, yeah, you can go after yourself. Sorry.
I think
it should be dangerous too. It should be dangerous.
Yeah, it should be.
It should be dangerous, but there should be. It's such a huge system to people, and people love the caravan system, and they love it so much that we have folks who are choosing to be very careful about when and how they are running their caravans. Because like our server is nuts with it right now.
I've stopped running them. I don't even know what to do with my glint. I have so much glint.
Plan your caravans if you operate on the server of Vyra. I will say that.
Yeah,
it is gnarly.
People defending should get something. And I totally get the concept of, you know, that free will kind of like, you know, okay, well, they helped you, so you should give them something. Okay, that's great in theory. It's a great thing to say. It's just not going to happen very much. Like, unless you know these people or someone's like really honestly genuine, like, people are going to take the money they get from these caravans. So I definitely agree that they should receive something from the game itself, not from the player. Definitely 100%. There needs to be something in there.
Yeah, because right now it is the Wild West. I know we were talking about the Wild West earlier, but when we have people that show up and their text happens to be, "You guys owe us a tax," I love it. That's role play at its best. and that's what they're trying to do. But I'm sorry, dude, I don't owe you nothing. And again, but, don't worry, we're coming.
I know we got to wrap it up, but like you're exactly right, right? Like, and that is the role play part of it, right? You have a guild that's hitting caravans, and we will just simply stop running caravans until we can get to the point where we can adequately defend them. But there'll be a lot better chance of a caravan getting there if there was any incentive to defend a caravan from bandits.
Yeah.
Right.
We would actively look for them. Players would actively look for them when they're on the road. They're going to pick flowers and they're on the road and they say, boop, attack or defend. Oh, boop, I'm defending because I'm going to get a title out of this if I defend 30 caravans. This goes towards my total.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Walk with these caravans. I'm going to get some stuff. I'll get some gold. I'll get some glint. I'll do something. I'll just be a part of the game, for God's sakes, right? Like, I'll meet a new person. This is an MMO. You can just be a part part of the game.
Yeah, with no system like that. It's an Eminem.
Yeah, got a little squirrely there. So I'm not going to lie. Kind of got away from me.
Oh, that's hilarious. Anyway, I love it.
Build a system. Give me a system on this one. I will be the first person in line. Guaranteed.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This was episode 2. Wow, episode 2. Okay.
We're a little further than that, but that's okay.
So 2. 72, everybody. Rusty. Episode 72. We hope you enjoyed the show. Let us know how we're doing. For every listen that what am I doing?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I went back in time to the old outro because I was getting ready to go into the 5-star review thing. Holy cow. Hey, look, if you enjoyed the show, let us know how we're doing. Whether it's your podcast app of choice or YouTube comments, man, we just appreciate you. You can always email us, LoreForgedHQ@gmail.com.
You know, I put this in the last show. I said, thank you and Godspeed to the California firefighters in Los Angeles. I think it still is pretty appropriate. I think it's still on fire.
It's like, wait a minute, are you redacting that just because I'm back?
No, I'm not. Pretty sure they still got problems down there. I don't know. I don't think they resolved them.
No, they didn't. And I will say, I appreciate that. And this is more on a serious note. We deployed several units out there, and they are still there. I stayed behind and covered the units that left. So I think I told you guys, I think I was home 12 hours at night last week. I've been at work ever since, and it's been a very, very long week. Like, we still had the winds in my city. I'm like 40 minutes away from where all those fires took place. But there is a lot of stuff still going on there. They're more in the mop up phase because the winds have now died down, but it's still warm and dry here in Southern California. And what they're dealing with now is putting out hotspots and looking for the missing. And that is grim, to put it frankly. It's very grim. So there's a lot more focus on just supporting the effort and mental health right now for a lot of our folks, and they're dealing with a lot of crap there. So anyway, that's not to try and pull out the heartstrings or anything, but that is the reality of what's going on here. And I'm very blessed and very thankful to be home. So anyway, thank you for all the messages. I got a billion messages, and I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, and you probably only got a half of the number of people that were sending us messages that we're concerned about you as well. So we're glad that you're here and safe, and Godspeed to your coworkers and the other people in your crews. So you can go to LoreForged.com and find links to all of the Ashes of Creation content, including YouTube and Twitch. We record this show live once a week on Twitch, and then it comes out on YouTube on Mondays, and then we do some streams during the week and everything. So make sure to subscribe to our Twitch channel. That one wasn't as bad as the other one, but I think it's probably a good idea that we wrap this show up.
Yep.
So
definitely.
Anyways, Patreon. We are continuing to put stuff out on Patreon, and we have a couple tiers on that. And boy, we're getting real close to that book, Cash. It is in the final stages. I'm very excited as I work my way through it, but it's not small. So it's taken a fairly careful read.
Yeah.
So Cash.
Last phases, we're literally the last phase, my friends, is Sunny is going through it page by page for me to make sure that it's polished. But it's for all intents and purposes, it's done.
I'm not doing it. I told him it was ready. Sonny said that he's going with the fine tooth comb. That's why he said Sonny, not Jibs, because Jibs said no. I think it's ready.
And JB's like, looks great.
That's true. That's what it did. That's what happened. Ship it.
Oh, you guys are classic.
You're up, Cash.
Yeah, that's you. Anytime.
Friends, you can follow us on X at LoreForged.com. You can follow us on Instagram at LoreForgedHQ. I do want to say that we are still actively bringing members into our guild. So if you're interested in joining our guild, you'll have to join our Discord, and there'll be an opportunity for you there to join our guild. I do want to give a very fond welcome to some new members of our guild. Welcome to Murthius, Breeze, Isaac Oto, Dicecord, Centurion Logan, Hemlock. Ooh, this is a tough one. Malferocious. That's pretty cool. Ooh, Dimmer Meerkat, 44 Koi Rat, Frosty E, and Vamp Zom. I want to follow it up with this. Friends, I know that this phase has been rough for some of us on Vira, but I do want to say this. That development team at Intrepid continues to impress us and continues to solidify the fact that they are fully invested in making the best MMO that they possibly can. We have been able to have some conversations with some folks over the last week that have further solidified our faith in what they are doing and our excitement for what they are building and their commitment to doing just that. If you haven't been able to catch any of Steven's streams lately, do yourself a favor and tune in. There is some very valuable information that he talks about each time he streams, and he is actively looking for and combating the problems that we are having. These folks care about what they're doing. They care about us as players and as people, and they continue to forge the game forward. So don't let anything that's happening in the game during this test phase sour your experience of what they're trying to build. It's going to take time. So just be patient and let's watch them build what they want to build.
Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great week. We love you. Stay safe. We'll see you next week right here on LoreForged. Take care, everybody.
Peace, love, and honeybees.
Safe travels, adventures.